Good afternoon. I'm Cindy Bertram. Thanks for joining me today on Good Ship Happens. Yes, we've got a lot of exciting, wonderful things coming up um, soon in the cruise industry, too. And one, of course, is with Cunard Line's first new ship, the Queen Anne. And they did take acquisition of the ship um, earlier in May. Okay, and it's their first new ship in 14 years, yes. But what they did was they did like a May day debut with media people on board too. But once again, it's just a great growth for Cunard Line. Also, like I said, with this ship, the Queen Anne, the capacity is increased by 44%. But once again, with Cunard Line, you don't have to worry about having 6,000 guests plus on board the ships. With the Queen Anne, she has a guest capacity of 3,000 passengers. And also, it's the first time since 1999 that Cunard Line has actually had 4 ships in service at one time. So it takes them some time, but they've got different areas too. And they've got some new concepts about the ship. They've got a cabaret-style nightclub called Bright Line Society. And also people that maybe have been sailing on Cunard Line in the past know there'll be some new updates as far as what Cunard's got in their spaces. They've got their Golden Lion Pub, which has really been elevated menu as far as their cuisine. And what they did was they pulled in celebrity chef Michel Roux. He is fantastic. And he worked with other cruise lines over the years. I actually had a chance to meet him when he worked for another cruise line, but that's really exciting too. And some other things they've got too is I know that they've got they're really, really working on some innovations too. Once again, they've got some relatively small, intimate specialty restaurants too. And something that they just announced this week, which really excites me so much, is Andrea Bocelli, who is the legendary tenor singer, is going to take the center stage at the Cunard Queen Anne's naming ceremony in Liverpool. And that's going to be taking place on June 3rd, so coming up pretty quickly too. And if you've ever heard Andrea Bocelli perform, he's amazing. I've seen him perform twice. Also seen his son perform with another cruise line at a christening, which is great too. But once again, what they're doing is Andrea Bocelli is going to be joined by an impressive lineup of Liverpool's finest talent, including the Royal Liverpool Philharmonic Orchestra. Also, performers from the Liverpool Institute of Performing Arts. And then they're going to have a special naming ceremony hosted by musician Matt Willis and his wife, TV presenter Emma Willis. But when I saw the news about Andrea performing, I thought that is really, really fantastic. It's just such a great person too. And they'll be coming up with this event on June 3rd. It's going to be the naming of the Queen Anne itself, and will include, of course, the traditional smashing of the bottle of champagne. And this is actually the 249th ship to carry us on the Cunard Line name too. Yes, they've been around for over 100 years. Of course, you have 249 ships in the past and present. Right now, they got 4 ships now coming out with the Queen Anne, but that's really, really fun too. And of course, this event will draw to a close with the performance by superstar Andrea Bocelli too, which is great. And then they'll have other performances, of course, from the Royal Liverpool Philharmonic Orchestra, the Liverpool Institute of Performing Arts, and also G.J. Lauren Lo Sung. And then they're going to have festivities, of course, too that evening. It's going to shift to a lively funk and soul set by Craig Curls. And then the Queen Anne is going to actually be departing with the backdrop of course, fireworks. And Katie McAllister, who is the president of Cunard Line, mentioned Liverpool is known the world over as Cunard Line's spiritual home. And we're thrilled to have announced that Maestro Bocelli will be part of their incredible final lineup of talented artists and performers for the special event. And of course, the celebration is a tribute to a rich history and a testament to the enduring bond between Cunard and the city of Liverpool. So we look forward to honoring this legacy with a celebration of unforgettable performances that reflect spirit and vibration, of course, with the company Cunard Line, and of course this magnificent city too. And what Shelley also mentioned, it's really an honor to be performing in Liverpool for the official naming ceremony of the Queen Anne. And this event promises to be a beautiful celebration of artistry and craftsmanship, which also really perfectly captures the spirit and elegance of Cunard's new ship. And to be taking part in such an historic occasion in a city rich with cultural heritage truly brings me great joy. He's fantastic, a fantastic renowned singer. And once again, the celebration is going to expect to be attended by thousands of attendees, and another significant part of history when it comes to Cunard Line ships. And so once again, too, it's just, I think, great to really think about this. You know, as far as Cunard Line, it's a luxury British cruise line renowned for their unforgettable, wonderful experiences in the world. And Cunard Line's actually been an operator of passenger ships since 1840, yes. And they're celebrating an incredible 184 years of operation now. And the Cunard experience is really built for fine dining, hand-selected entertainment. They've got outstanding service, and they've got this really, really wonderful partnership with a 2-star Michelin chef, and they're doing different things too. And with the Queen Anne coming out officially, she's got, with Cunard Line, they've got 3 other ships: the Queen Mary, 2, the Queen Elizabeth, and the Queen Victoria. And of course, the Queen Anne is their newest ship in service. And they are actually owned by the Cunard Corporation. But once again, I think that was so exciting to hear that Andrea Bocelli's going to actually be performing at their christening naming ceremony too. And a little bit more, like I said, the reason, because they're doing this event, of course, in Liverpool. And once again, it's just really fun to see what they're doing too with this too. And as mentioned, it's going to be very well attended too. And then something else they mentioned too is interesting about Cunard Line, just came up this week too, was actually one of their other ships, which has currently been sailing for a while, the Queen Mary 2, arrives in New York City. And what they're doing is they're going to have this Eternal Flame honoring their 80th anniversary of D-Day. And they've got this event coming up. It's a ceremony marking the arrival of the Eternal Flame in New York, really commemorating the 80th anniversary of D-Day. And of course, this is the Queen Mary 2. And they're doing that event. I think they just did it, or maybe they're doing it right now, because I just got information about this yesterday. Here we go. Yeah, she arrived actually yesterday, May 23rd, carrying the Eternal Flame after a 7-day North Atlantic voyage crossing. And then following the ship's arrival, there's a commemorative ceremony held on board the Queen Mary 2. And they honor the World War II Normandy landings of 1944 and marking the 80th anniversary of D-Day. And different people that were there too, or the captains, etc. Also, the Eternal Flame, which has been burning since November 11th of 1923 on the tomb of the unknown soldier under the Arc de Triomphe, was actually collected on May 8th. And from there, a group of 12 young French ambassadors carried the flame from Paris to Cherbourg, went across the English Channel to Portsmouth, and then its key embarkation port for the Normandy invasion. And then the flame proceeded a short distance to Southampton when it bore the Queen Mary 2 to cross the Atlantic Ocean and arrive in New York. And of course, the ambassadors will escort the flame to Arlington Cemetery to lay it down in official ceremony, which is taking place actually today, and it will burn until June 6th. And that's just so much fun to think about wonderful things like that too. So once again, a great really thing about Cunard Line, which you've maybe not heard of, but they've been around for a long time, and they do wonderful things. And have their fourth ship coming out, which is great too. In over 14 years, it's really fantastic too. So I wanted to talk about that first because it's good to celebrate different things too, especially when we've got, in our case, Memorial Day coming up on Monday too. Something else that came up too is I know that with Windstar Cruises, they are a fantastic company and been around for a while. But anyway, they are actually they just unveiled their 2025 and 2026 winter Mediterranean sailings too. And what they're doing is they've got there's a rising trend of year-round travel in Europe. So Windstar actually is enhancing winter itineraries, and they're offering different perks for groups plus an extended early booking too. And once again, with Windstar Cruises, they're one of the very few cruise lines that sail in the Mediterranean during the winter time too. And Windstar Cruises is really leaning towards growing the trend of off-season travel. And today, which is actually yesterday again too, the Windstar Cruises announced its 2025 and 2026 winter Mediterranean voyages and sail dates, including unique itineraries plus 6-star collection, and what you're saying is that combine itineraries for more in-depth exploration. And Windstar mentioned they really learned that many guests want to make the most of their travels, and which is great too. And they've got new sailings, and also they've got this special offer right now. It's early booking bonus, and with this, it includes a $200 onboard credit for stateroom plus a complimentary upgrade to all-inclusive fares. This means that Wi-Fi is included, gratuities are included, unlimited beer, wine, and cocktails will be provided, no additional charge, and you have to get this booked by October 31st of 2025. And also they mentioned that winter Mediterranean sailings will be departing from December through February. Part of Windstar's 2000 will start group sailing programs too. And as mentioned, their winter sailings highlight ports that normal Windstar doesn't normally visit during the summer, like Valencia, Spain, Cortom, Italy, and also Catania in Sicily. And they've got a full complement of shore excursions, which will be available to book, of course, in port, and also other experiences too. And what they're doing too is they mentioned that in 2025, 2026, the season also debuts a brand new port, Genoa, Italy. And their guests can visit important maritime museum of the Mediterranean, experience the biggest aquarium in Europe, and just really stunning views too. And also the season will boast overnights in Dubrovnik, Venice, Nice, Barcelona, and Malaggia, also in Florence, to make long days of exploration possible. And they just announced that this week too, which is great. So once again, with these sailings take place on board their Star Legend, which accommodates 312 guests, and they've got with the staterooms minimum of 277 square feet accommodations, all ocean views, and all with a step out to verandas too. And it's actually the official cruise line of James Beard Foundation, and guests can dine in innovative cuisine on board 5 different dining venues. They've got amphora, they've got veranda, they've got candles, they've got the Star Grill, and they've got the they pronounce it Quardo 44, and the chefs continue to shop for fresh seafood, produce, and local specialty items to bring flavors on board from the destinations that the ships go to, even during winter months too, which is great. And once again, they sailing after the harvest is a plus for wine tours, which is great too. So once again, they just announced different sailings. Once again, I can share about that later too, but that was really, really fun too, because with Windstar Cruises, a bit more about them. They have a fleet of 6 ships. They're unique all-suite and sailing yachts. They carry from between 148 guests to 342 guests, and they're really a boutique cruise line, but been around for a while, and they're offering some great things too. And so definitely keep that in mind too, because it's kind of fun to think about something that people might not normally do is maybe sail in Mediterranean in the wintertime, and that'll be coming out in 2025 and 2026. Okay, and something else that came up this week too was actually Sea Cloud Cruises, and they're not well known, but I got a chance to meet their president and also the vice president in the fall of last year at a cruise conference. But what they're doing is they've just announced that they've got this special departures coming up on their Sea Cloud Spirit, which is going to depart on October 5th, October 12th, and make a 2-day stop in Barcelona to really let passengers immerse. And it's going to celebrate the America's Cup this year in October. And as mentioned, the Sea Cloud has really enlisted the America's Cup and sailing expert Tim Kroger to really provide his commentary on everything too, which is great. And it's really great to see what they're doing more than ever. And this particular 13-day trip option departs on October 5th from Nice, France. And the itinerary does include a full day of sailing, stops in Calvi and also Bastia and Corsica, visits to Sanremo, Italy, and Marseille, France. Also stop in Spain before reaching Barcelona. And they have an overnight stay during America's Cup, which is great too. So this is a special America's Cup voyage. And once again, it's going to be coming up this year. In October and October 12th. So keep that in mind too, because definitely look into Sea Cloud, which is really, really got a chance to meet the president, their vice president last fall at the conference. It's really good because they're really expanding their presence as far as people maybe wanting to sail on Sea Cloud and maybe not heard of them in the U.S. market too. So definitely keep that in mind. And then something else that is fun too. I know with Norwegian Cruise Line, originally, they were known more for sailing from the U.S. to the Caribbean, etc. But what they're doing is they are expanding across Asia, Pacific, and Australia, and also New Zealand. And what they did was they just launched more than 30 new port-intensive cruises across the Asia Pacific, Australia, New Zealand, for a total of 85 different voyages from September this year through March of next year, or to March of 2026. And this will be on their new 2 Regent ships, including the Norwegian Spirit, Norwegian Sun, and Norwegian Sky. And so really, for the first time in their history, Norwegian Cruise Line is going to deploy more ships into this part of the world for its extended season of voyages. And these are going to include 15 departure ports, including Auckland, New Zealand, Bali, Indonesia, Bangkok. They've got Manila, Philippines, also Papeete, French Polynesia, and they've got South Korea, also Singapore, Taiwan. They've got Tokyo, Japan, also Vancouver, Canada, also Sydney and Melbourne. And for the first time, Cairns in Australia, and also I think it's Lautoka in Fiji Islands too. And it's going to be actually Norwegian Cruise Line's first summer cruises in Asia, which really gives guests more options to really, really, really discover and enjoy the diverse scenery and also culture and culinary concepts too. And also, Asia really is one of the growing interests when it comes to, I think, travelers. And what they're doing too is they're working on different things too. And they've got these new itineraries coming up too, of course, and top destinations for U.S.-based travelers include 2024 being Tokyo, Osaka, Japan, Seoul, South Korea, Taipei City, Taiwan, and also Hong Kong. And the Norwegian Cruise Line has really have a commitment to deliver very immersive port-rich itineraries. So keep that in mind too, because once again, when you think about sailing and Norwegian Cruise Line, you think about cruises that maybe they do that offer Caribbean sailings. Of course, they do sail in Europe Alaska, different areas. Once again, this is another area they're really expanding into, moving into more than ever. They're really expanding their presence across Asia, Pacific, and Australia and New Zealand. And the fun thing is, Norwegian Sun's going to make her Australia debut in December this year. She's going to be offering 12 to 15-day voyages between Australia and New Zealand. Also, a new collection of itineraries from the Great Barrier Reef, also South Pacific. And then Norwegian Sky is going to debut in Asia in January 2025, offering Japan and South Asia voyages too. And it really, I think, is great to think about this too. I know years ago, my dad loved Tahiti, and later on they did take cruises in Tahiti, which is great too, but such beautiful areas too, and definitely one to think about now more than ever. Another one they mentioned too was the Norwegian Spirit is going to debut in Asia this year. It's coming up soon, May 26th, for a 10-day Japan cruise sailing from Tokyo. And then the fall, she's going to return for a season of 9 to 15-day Japan and Southeast Asia's cruises from September 22nd this year through November 17th of 2025. So definitely keep that in mind too. And it really lets people, I think, explore these off-beaten track past cities with deeper explorations too, and different things to do too. And then, of course, in December, the Norwegian Sun is going to make her Australia debut, arriving in Brisbane and Melbourne on December 18th and December 21st this year. And then following an 18-day French, Polynesian, South Pacific sailing, which actually departs from Papeete on December 3rd and visits 8 different ports too. So once again, I think it's good to kind of think about this too, because if you're thinking about maybe finding Asia Pacific cruises, adventures, Norwegian Cruise Line really gives people more choices. They've got their NCL Free at Sea program, which delivers more value with holiday enhancing benefits, special dining credits, unlimited beverage package, also shore excursion credits, Wi-Fi minutes, of course, and just a way also to extend your vacation with one of NCL's cruise tours in Auckland, New Zealand, Taipei, Taiwan, as well as Singapore, Tokyo, and Sydney. So once again, keep that in mind too, because once again, they just really announced what they're doing pretty soon this year, next year. So keep that in mind too. It's just an option to think about too. Something else is we've got 11 new ships coming out this year too. And Oceania Cruises, as their new ship, the Allura, is actually going to be start sailing a little earlier. Okay. The positive news about this too is I know that we've had some ship delays in the past because sometimes shipyards take longer to build ships. We've seen that in the past, but what came out, they just announced it, which is fun too, is once again with Oceania, their new ship, the Allura, is actually going to be coming out earlier. Yes! And the Allura is going to really enter the fleet a week earlier than she originally was scheduled, and her inaugural sailing is going to now debut from Trieste, Italy, then en route to Athens, Greece, with calls to Croatia, Italy, and then Montenegro on July 18th, 2025. And for guests that want to get booked on their inaugural sailing, it's going to depart on July 24th, 2025. So it's coming out a little bit earlier, a week earlier. And then following her summer season in the Mediterranean, Allura is going to sail to Canada and New England for a series of immersive voyages in North America. And then this will conclude with her winter season in the Caribbean, home porting in Miami. And the Oceania will also offer a 4-day Taste of Oceania Cruises preview sailing that departs on September 30th from New York. And, of course, it'll be coming out, of course, 2025. And it's good to see ships coming out a week earlier than they had planned, which is great too. And they just, with Oceania Cruises, it's a cruise line that's really founded, by foodies and food that's really part of what they do too. And they've got different exciting culinary developments underway right now too on the Allura. That includes more than 300 different recipes, new recipes, yes. They're currently working this right now. They'll be for the grand dining room across all 3 meal services. And Allura is actually the 8th ship within the Oceania Cruises fleet. And this is the cruise line's second Allura class ship that accommodates 1,200 guests. And as mentioned, their first new vessel in this new fleet, Allura class, actually the Vista debuted in May of last year, 2023. And they've got some other highlights they mentioned too is they've got their new onboard, I think it's crepieri. That's going to be serving made-to-order crepes and waffles, as well as Sundays in the afternoon. And they mentioned they've got some healthy features too, which is great. These include they've got one chef per every 10 guests, which is great too. And also they've got specialty dining venues. The line's new signature restaurants, which include Ember and Aquamar Kitchen at no extra cost for guests to enjoy. And once again, the staterooms are actually 291 square feet, which is very, very spacious. Also, they've got a new library that includes floor-to-ceiling walls of glass, covered oversized chairs, and residential furnishings. And this continues on with the tradition of Oceania Cruises libraries. And it's just steps away from their digital center, which is great too. So, once again, I think that's kind of fun to think about this too. Also, there are really hundreds of immersive shore excursions and tours that guests can choose from too. And as far as onboard entertainment enrichment, that includes art classes. They've got guest speakers. They've got sommelier demonstrations, and there's sommelier's choice and cellar masters classic wine pairing luncheons, which is great. And their expansive culinary center accompanied their chef studio, where onboard chefs, instructors will impart in really, really Epicurean knowledge too, which is great too. So keep that in mind too, because once again, the new ship Allura is coming out a week earlier. That'll be in 2025, which is great. So now she's going to be, she's got her coming out on July 18th. Okay, not July 25th. That'll be next year. Keep that in mind too. And something else that I want to share about, it's another cruise line that you might not be aware of, but they're really, really fantastic too, is Riviera River Cruises. What they've been doing is they're actually adding a new 4th new yacht cruise and tour itinerary in the Adriatic Sea in next year, 2025, after announcing 3 others earlier this year. And this new itinerary combines yacht cruise with onboard accommodations, a land extension with hotel accommodations in Croatia and Montenegro. Also, people can visit medieval cities, enriching old towns and picturesque bays along with the Golden Beach. And first-time swim stops, what I think is kind of fun, on the way. And they've got departures available from May through September 2025. And it's their new collection of yacht cruises, which really land extensions in the Adriatic, which is really, really going well for them too. And more about Riviera River Cruises. It's actually United Kingdom's leading river cruise operator, and they do have salespeople working in North America. I know one of their executive vice presidents. But once again, too, it's really, really first-class service, spacious cabins and suites. They've got captivating excursions too, and like I said, they just mentioned that they're offering some new yacht cruise and tours in 2025, so keep that in mind too. And in addition to their yacht cruises in the Adriatic, the Riviera River Cruises is offering different parts of cruises on rivers and the waterways across Europe. Also, they include exclusive departures for solo travelers at no single cost supplement, which is great. Because sometimes if you try cruise by yourself, you pay a single supplement. But in this case, with Riverside River Cruises, they've got special sailings where solo passengers don't have an extra cost, okay, which is great. There's no single supplement, but get charged. And also, their cruises really have fine dining experiences. They've got free drinks packages, expert-led excursions to really beautiful sites too, and also hidden gems. And it's actually one of the youngest fleets in Europe too, which is great. So definitely keep that in mind too, because once again, what River Cruises do is they really they don't have any hidden surcharges or fees, which is great. And so really, it's a fantastic thing to think about too. Once again, they're offering more in 2025. Some other things that I want to mention today was too is, we've got a lot of growth when it comes to the private out islands. And one that is going to be in the process of being developed right now is with Carnival Cruise Line. It's called Celebration Key. And they've been working on this for a while. They just released more features of Celebration Key. It's their private island destination, and it's in the Grand Bahama area. And what they did was it's going to be opening in July of 2025. And they just mentioned this week, of course, a lot of good news this week, as I mentioned, but it's going to be centered around one of the largest freshwater lagoons in the Caribbean, and they call it Starfish Lagoon. It's going to feature a wide variety of different activities for different ages and energy levels too, and it's been named after the national bird and national fish of the Bahamas, the flash flamingo, and also Blue Mock 3 Martin water slides, which are over 350 feet long. Water slide over 350 feet long. Well, that's long, isn't it, right? Once again, they invite guests to its friendly competition as they weave around through this 10-story high sun castle with a speedy race with exciting turns and also flashes of light and color that really are exhilarating too. And once again, located right to the entrance of Starfish Lagoon for toddlers and young children. They've got this Guppy Grotto splash pad, which is fun. And they've also got a themed children's water play area that includes a refreshing 2-foot deep wading pool, fun water toys, exciting dump bucket, and also interactive festivities features too. And of course, plenty of shaded seating for of course, parents, with a really, really nearby ice cream shop, which is great too, because once again, you want to enjoy ice cream, right? And also the game pavilion actually features a variety of different table games such as foosball, ping pong, and cornhole. And then they mentioned accountable seating is going to be there very different areas too for guests. And the sports court will include volleyball, basketball, and pickleball courts too, adjacent to the game pavilion. And they've also got their floating aquabanas, which are really floating cabanas that are really fun for the whole family. And guests can relax with their feet in the water under a shading canopy and then sip a really refreshing beverage too. And then also, they're available for, of course, rental. The aquabanas come with seating space for 8. Also, a solid table for drinks and essentials, non-slip areas, and also sets for easy access on Lagoon 2. And then these 12 floating private islands are grouped around a peninsula with a dedicated bar, so that refreshments are just a few steps away, or swims away too if you want to. And then for adults, they've got this swim-up bar, which they're developing. We'll have a variety of different colorful drinks, including the bar's specialty frozen rum cocktails that will be served without leaving the water. I mean, how fun to do a swim-up bar. I think that'd be great. And they have sun lounges, also umbrellas, and also beachside cabanas too, which is great. So keep this in mind, because there's so many different dining menus available, options for guests to enjoy, including restaurants, of course. There's snack and bar shacks. Also, they're going to have Bahamian food trucks too. And like I said, with Carnival, they really carry more children than other cruise lines, and so they decided to design this Starfish Lagoon, especially for family fun. That's what Christine Duffy, the president of Carnival Cruise Lines, mentioned, so that toddlers and teens and adults alike will be able to find their own piece of paradise, whether it's racing down one of the water slides or just maybe playing around a pickleball or just maybe relaxing on one of their floating aquabanas, which is great too. And the Starfish Lagoon joins Paradise Plaza, the welcome area, Calypso Lagoon, which is the adults-friendly area, and also Lacona Cove, which is a shopping village too. And also they're going to be more details too about their own adults-only private retreat here too. And Celebration Key is going to be welcoming its first guests in July of 2025. And right now they have decided they're going to have at least more than 500 itineraries that will currently open for sale to actually feature this destination. 18 of their ships sailing from 10 different U.S. home ports. And I keep you posted, but I think that's really kind of fun about more what they're sharing as far as Celebration Key, which is really, really great too. So keep that in mind too, because once again, I like the private islands that cruise lines go to too, and they really keep ramping up more, making more options for guests to enjoy too. And this is a great one that Carnival Cruise Line is doing right now. It's called Celebration Key. I'll be sharing more too, because once again, as Christine Duffy mentioned, they really have more families with kids sailing on the ships. Once again, they got different areas they're creating for this private out island, Celebration Key, including adults only area, but family areas too. So definitely keep that in mind too, because once again, I could talk for hours on private out islands. I'll be sharing about one more later on towards the end of my episode today, but it's great too, because once again, it's just, it's a way to really relax. Because sometimes when you get off a cruise ship, okay, you think about, I want to go to the beach, but where do I go? You can actually book shore excursions on board the ships, which I really, really definitely recommend, because once again, the key thing is, I booked separate things too, but the point is, if that shore excursion you book separately doesn't come back in time and you miss the ship, getting on board the ship, you got to play catch up yourself. Or if you book something with the cruise line, they've got so many different options available. Then if that shore excursion that you booked through the cruise line that the cruise line is offering comes back late, they hold the ship and wait for the guests to come back aboard. So definitely keep that in mind too, because we need that more than ever. And something that's kind of fun too is you think about, okay, so many options as far as, what you like to drink on board the cruise ships. Well, Han American Line just made some announcements too this week about changing the mix of what you can actually drink on board, okay? They're creating some really, really kind of fun specialty drinks, and by their famed mixologists, and at bars on every one of their ships. And Han American Line has really been recognized by elevating its trend for onboard beverage program, and they're offering guests regionally inspired cocktails by their notable mixologists. And so from Alaska and Europe to Latin America and also Caribbean, these exclusive beverage menus really reflect the beautiful scenery and also the rich and culture of the destinations that they go to. So for instance, guests that would be embarking on Alaskan cruises will be able to imbibe flavors of expertly crafted cocktails from one renowned bartender that mentioned was actually Sam Ross. And he's going to be capturing the pioneering spirit of the Great Lake. And then for the people sailing through Europe, they can sip in beverages that are curated by an award-winning bartender, Tess Posomas, paying homage to European excellence and Dutch heritage. And then Han America's exclusive beverage offerings actually just began this May. And it's really, really great because once again, they've been offering sailings Alaska for 75 years, yes. And Han America's expertise really kind of led the brands teaming up to really pull in a veteran bartender and also cocktail crafter Sam Ross. And I know that they've got these new Sam Ross cocktails on Alaskan cruises. These include Gino. They've got their Juniper Gin. Then they've got this for Kleindiker, Another one's called the PNC Penicillin. This is actually a flagship single malt with fresh lemon, ginger, honey, and a float of Westland peated single barrel select. It's exclusive to America line too. They've got Midnight Sun, which is a Hennessy VS Creme de Menthe. They got their Frontier Champagne Sip, which is Angel's Envy Bourbon, Honey Vanilla Cream, Egg, and Champagne. And once again, it's kind of fun that they've been creating these unique line of cocktails for European voyages too, of course, and of course Alaska, and different areas too. So definitely keep in mind too, because it's just kind of fun to see what they're doing too. I know they've got some that are going to be being offering too, as far as the European voyages too. So definitely keep that in mind. Something else too is when cruise lines actually started doing Cuba, but it's been a while since been sailing to Cuba. What happened was, I think President Trump banned cruise ships to go to Cuba. And there's some cruise lines that actually offered smaller ships to sail to Cuba. I had some friends that did. They loved it because of the different history, whatever. And then, of course, I know that President Trump did eliminate that too. And that kind of stopped people being able to go to cruising to Cuba. However, one thing just came out this week too is Abercrombie & Kent is returning to Cuba with a new small group tour that was going to be launching this fall. Abercrombie & Kent is a fantastic tour company, been around for a long time, very, very famous, and also Abercrombie & Kent, the parent company, actually bought Crystal Cruises. But what they're doing, they just announced this week they're returning to Cuba with this new small group tour that's going to be launching this fall. It's going to be starting in October. It's their 10-day Cuba, people, art, and culture. And it's going to take guests on a really intimate journey to visit nearly the entire island, discovering Cuban heritage, the country's vibrant art scene. And that's really interacting with the Cuban people too. And it's the first time that the luxury cruise travel company has been offering tours to Cuba. It was actually suspended. They had to suspend operations in 2019 due to travel restrictions imposed by the Trump administration. And there were some cruise lines that actually offered some cruises on very, very small ships to Cuba. Those were banned too when the Trump administration banned going to Cuba. But in this case, Abercrombie's returning to Cuba now with a small group tour, and guests can really explore the Spanish culture and architect of Trinidad and different areas too. Also southern area, and of course on route to Havana, guests can really expect scenic drives in the Cuban countryside too. So keep that in mind too. And with this coming out just this week about them returning to Cuba, I'm kind of wondering if maybe some cruise lines, they have to sail on smaller ships because they have to actually anchor off. They can't dock there because Cuba's older and once again doesn't have the ship capacity. But I'm wondering if that might open up later on too, just in case. As mentioned, some friends actually got a chance to go to Cuba before the ban popped up in 2019, and they really, really enjoyed it. It was a very, very interesting experience for them too. So definitely, I think it's good to keep that in mind too. I know we've talked a lot about drinking, etc. too, and just culinary ventures too, but also with Holland America and coming up with their special types of mixology drinks. And so they just came up too is with Alma Waterways. They're a really fantastic river cruise line. They've been around for 22 years. They're family owned. And they just announced this, but I guess May 25th is actually National Wine Day. So remember that tomorrow if you're going to go out, well, celebrate National Wine Day by having a glass of wine, right? But what they did was they just announced this week, and Alma Waterways is starting to sail their new itinerary, Flavors of Burgundy. It's going to embark us on a really, really palate-pleasing journey along the Salon River with a collection of France's most prestige vineyards too. And they just released the wine hosts, and they're going to have more than 70 hosted departures that are part of Alma Waterways 2025 series of celebration of wine river cruises. So I think that was kind of fun I didn't realize that tomorrow's actually National Wine Day, but it was kind of fun how they just announced it earlier this week. And they mentioned that they're going to be offering their Celebration Wine Cruises, going to be offering 21 different itineraries, really highlighting iconic wine regions such as Burgundy in France, Douro Rip Valley in Portugal, as well as some lesser known destinations too, along the Moselle River in Germany. But that was kind of fun timing too. Okay, so remember tomorrow is actually National Wine Day,
I
so
saw
we
that.
should
Is there a
celebrate,
particular
right?
is there a particular wine that you're going to try to get, or something along those lines? So I didn't know if there was a particular wine favorite of yours.
Right. But how fun. They just announced this and they got different itineraries, different areas they're going to too. I mean, the flavors of Burgundy is one they listed. They got Enchanting Rhine. They've got the Romantic Danube and different things too. Once again, as mentioned, these are going to be coming out in 2025 on their ships. And as mentioned, Water's been operated for over 22 years. They're family owned. Fantastic. They offer really, really fantastic river cruise line experiences along 29 different custom designed ships. Beautiful. And Rudy Schreiner, who is the co-founder of Waterways, is actually known as the architect of the river cruise line industry because he actually was an architect first.
Wow, sounds like an
Yes.
amazing thing. National Wine Day, and all along those lines. I also
Right.
saw that there were some other things that were interesting in the news as well, because I had also seen that apparently, and I know you'll be excited about this, the cruise line is excited because they were saying that there are some of the cruise lines that are doing quite well. So apparently, both Royal Caribbean and Carnival Cruise Lines have said that definitely they are excited because apparently the Carnival CEO Josh Weinstein said that the first quarter earnings looked really good. So it looks like the first
Yes.
quarter was fantastic across the board and yet another set of records. So it does look like folks are excited about the way that things are going in the cruise industry and all along those lines, because it looks like they're getting a good report, and it looks like not only them but the Royal Caribbean as well. So he was sharing some positive news as well. And I guess that even though we're out of the pandemic, they're still trying to be safe, because they did say that there were more hand sanitizer stations, and you might see some passengers still wearing masks, but it definitely might even see some signs about social distancing. But for the most part, ships are full, and people are out there getting into the boats and enjoying the boats and all along those lines. So it looks like that we're
Right.
getting good reports from the cruise industry.
Right. I mean, amazing what they're doing too. I mean, I can't. I just, cruising's in my blood. I just love it. And I took a cruise after we got through the COVID-19 mess. I took a cruise with a friend on. It was actually in um, late April 2022, and we got off ship I think in May. But the thing that was really fun too is it was good to take an 8 night cruise myself. I was going through ship withdrawal myself. Yes, I feel safe on a ship. I love cruising. I love relaxing on the ocean, different places too. But once again, when I did that ship was Royal Caribbean, but Allure of the Seas. But it was very interesting because back those days you actually had to make sure that when you got yourself registered, booked, you had to actually show that you had your COVID-19 vaccinations. Okay. And also, what happened too is 3 days before we sailed out, we had to actually have another it was like a kind of a proof that we've been vaccinated and also we were COVID-19 free. And we had to submit that too. When we boarded the ship, before you just wait in lines, what they did was we had an area we had to wait for 6 feet apart with masks on out in their big area. They checked our certifications so that we had gotten the COVID 19 shot. They were COVID negative. And then when we actually were getting ready to go another area to actually check in, they didn't have the big long tables open. They had a person that actually greeted us personally, 6 feet apart again to make sure we had everything, and then we were getting on to our ship to on board. But it was really serious protocols they did even back then, and this is actually 2022. And the ship wasn't even, of course, half capacity at the time too. But it's good to really experience it. And some of the shore excursions I did, we had to wear masks. It kind of depended on the shore excursions I did, but it was just great to really experience it and see how they put together these really health and safety protocols into place.
Well,
Yeah.
One thing that I saw that can sometimes be sad is that we all talk about good ship happens, but I guess when a captain is passed away, and all along those lines, they will fly the flag at half mast. And I didn't know, and I don't know if you knew this gentleman, because apparently he was a big time leader in the cruise industry. But they did say that as of last Friday, to honor the passing of Captain James McDonald, they were flying their flags at half
Yes,
mast on Caribbean. So apparently he was at the
yes,
helm of the Harmony of Sea when he
yes,
apparently had a
yes.
heart
Royal
attack
Caribbean.
and all along
Yes,
those
he
lines. But
just
I didn't
passed
even know that
away.
they
Yeah.
did that because apparently he had commanded his employees for 34 years, and looks
Yes.
like there were a lot more people that were honoring his work. Because it sounds like he was definitely a person that loved the sea, and I think he was even out on a cruise with his wife at the time that he
Right.
passed away
Yes.
and everything along those lines. But it's just interesting the way that they honor folks that are living their life and giving their life to the sea. So it sounds like he was definitely a legend because I even see that there's a
Yes.
fan that wrote on their Facebook, Thomas Estep, who said that he was a true legend in the boating industry and a friend of many across the seven seas. He had the opportunity to talk to him many times while working on board Royal Caribbean, and the conversations may have been short, but it made everyone's day. So apparently, he was known for keeping the conversation going, and I know captains oftentimes are keeping the conversation going. And apparently, he was a St. Petersburg resident. So I don't know if you even had the
Right.
pleasure of meeting him, since I know that you get
I
out
don't
on
think I
a
did,
number
but
of
I heard
cruises.
about it. It was very sad he passed away. But the point is, just they really honor their captains, which is great. It's really good that they do it because once again, it goes back to their family. They're really
Right.
family members, and the thing is, sometimes in the industry you don't see that, but once again, they really, really are really fantastic with
Yeah.
their employees too. You know, yes. And then
They
something you
become part of
mentioned,
your family and all
yes,
along those lines. I'm getting to pop on off. I just want to share that memorial
yes,
that somebody gave and all along those lines. And whenever you're ready, we'll go out with Dr. Sylvia Earle and all in that space. But
right. So
always good having
one,
great conversations with
yes.
you.
I want to say one update about that too, because what happened was they just announced it this week. Mission Blue, which is Dr. Sylvia Earle's association, and the MSC Foundation unite to champion marine conservation through education and restoration initiatives. And Dr. Sylvia Earle actually christened the Explorer, Germany's Explorer 1 ship last year, and amazing person. I've not had a chance to meet her, but what they did was um, what they're doing now. They just announced it. They've got this really a great move to really bolster the global marine conservation. Mission Blue and the OC Foundation announced a really strategic 3-year partnership on May 22nd. And this happens to be the International Day for Biological Diversity. And what they're doing is, like I said, Mission Blues is led by renowned oceanographer Dr. Sylvia Earle and also the MSC Foundations, which is great too. And they're collaborating on different things too. What they're doing is they've got their ocean literacy program, which is launching this summer. This is designed to educate and inspire 4 million guests across MSC Cruises division fleets about the importance of the oceans. And the program includes lessons, activities, onboard presentations for cruise guests, from luminaries to ocean conservation. Also, they emphasize the importance of the role of hope spots and also central marine ecosystems such as mangroves, seagrass meadows, also coral reefs, and kelp forests too. And once again, a restoration project that will plant up to 33,000 seagrass plants over the next 3 years to really help restore the vital seagrass meadows around Spain. And this objective is really to support the ongoing efforts from the region to replenish these meadows and also help create a cascade of ecological benefits, which includes fostering an increase in biodiversity, also enhancing fish stocks, and also sequestering carbon. And I know that the partnership is really, really driven by their wanting a commitment to safeguard the blue heart of the planet. Ocean Cay MSC Marine Reserve, which is MSC Cruises' private island, was developed by really rehabilitating a former sand mining site, and it had been trashed. The MSC group actually leased the island for 100 years. Mayhem government paid him money. They spent $400 million to really get the island back up in shape. And once again, Dr. Sylvia Francesco Vago, who is the chairman of the MSC Foundation, also executive chairman of the MSC Cruise Division of MSC Group, mentions that really our joint commitment with Dr. Sylvia Earles and Mission Blue really enhances capacity to drive significant change. And the Hope Spot Champion for Ocean Cay, I am eager to see efforts that will catalyze widespread support for protecting the vital in ecosystems where we sail, and also the MSC Group peers and stakeholders, as including our guests too. And once again, Mr. Vago actually serves as the Hope Spot Chairman for Ocean Cay. In October 2023, of course, Dr. Sylvia Earle became the godmother of Explorer Journeys Explorer 1 in a very traditional maritime naming ceremony too. So I think it's great what they're doing too. So keep that in mind too. And now we can go on to this great video about Dr. Sylvia Earles too. It's wonderful what they're doing too, because people need that to know that more than ever too. We need to save the oceans and the blue water. And MSC Group is doing that more than ever too, and Dr. Sylvia Earles is just phenomenal too.
I'm Dr. Sylvia Earle, a marine biologist, oceanographer, explorer, and I'm passionate about the protection of this blue planet. I grew up next to the ocean in the Gulf of Mexico, and I've witnessed how much the ocean has changed and how marine life has been endangered. But I know there is still time to help the ocean, which is why I was drawn to the Aponte family's sustainability mission. Explorer Journeys has a genuine ambition to connect people with the wonders of the sea, its marine life, its communities, spiritually, physically, and intellectually. We share the same values and have the same objectives to deepen people's relationship with the ocean, to explore, protect, and restore. Explorer Journeys calls it the ocean state of mind, a sensibility that will ensure the protection of this precious blue planet. Through my foundation, Mission Blue, we're working on ocean conservation, inspiring hope with champions across the world. Beginning with my extraordinary role as godmother to Explorer 1, we will be heralding a meaningful collaboration between myself, Mission Blue, and Explorer Journeys and the MSC Foundation towards preserving and restoring the world's oceans, the blue heart of the planet.